Hi there, it's Nicole for Pretty Pink Posh with a 'Tis the Season card showcasing the new Holiday Pals stamps and dies from Pretty Pink Posh. This is part of the November 2015 blog hop celebrating the November release. I'm going to stamp several images from the Holiday Pals stamp set, the bunny and the cute glasses image. Here I'm going to put some glasses on the little bunny. Both trees from this stamp set, and then all three gift packages as well. I'm stamping these images with the Memento Tuxedo Black ink on some smooth white cardstock, and I'll be doing some Copic coloring of these images once I have them all stamped. You could definitely stamp these on watercolor paper and watercolor these images with traditional watercolors, the Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. You could color these with colored pencils, anything. I'm just going to do a little Copic coloring here today and build a fun little shaker scene. I'm going to start with coloring in my trees, and I'm using my darkest color first and feathering down that darkest color from each layer of the trees. Then I went in with my mid-tone color, and then I'll finish with my lightest color. I'm using the yellow-green colors in YG 95, 97, and 99. I'm going back with my darkest color. I thought it blended out just a little too much and darkening up some of those areas, and then blending it out with my mid-tone color. For the tree trunks, I will be using E55 and 57. Both trees are colored exactly the same. And I tried not to blend too much. It gives a little bit more of the illusion of a tree with a little less blending. So I left some of those feathering strokes in. Go ahead and finish those off with the tree trunks. And then I'm going to move to the bunny, and I'm going to use some warm gray colors to color him in. I want him to basically look like a white bunny or very, very soft gray bunny. So I'm going with the lighter end of the spectrum with the warm gray markers. I colored in the entire image with warm gray 00, and then I'm pulling in the warm gray 1, 2, and 3, and using a little R00 for the cheeks and nose on the bunny. For the bunny tail, I'm just going to use a little warm gray 00, and then use a little bit of the dot technique that I'm using all over the bunny. I'm using the warmer or the darker colors rather for that, and the lighter colors for the bunny tail to keep it really light. I'm going to move over to the gift packages now. These are all going to be in shades of reds, greens, and pinks. I just pulled in a little bit of pink. I didn't want everything to be red and green. I'm using R24, R29, YG 17 and 25, and then the red violets in 55 and 63. Very quick coloring. These are really small images, so I didn't do a ton of shading, only 2 colors or 2 shades per color. And then I will take the coordinating Holiday Pals dies and die cut all of those images. I'm going to take a Sakura black gel pen and add detail to the eyes on the bunny. Once that ink is dry, I'm going to take some glossy accents, and I have a nozzle tip on this that's going to give me more precision application. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in the glasses area with some glossy accents to really make those look like glasses. I will also apply glossy accents to the nose. I'm going to set that aside to dry, and I'm going to take this product called Stick It and place it on some smooth white cardstock. This is just going to make it really easy to attach my die cut frame to the acetate to create my shaker. These scallop frame dies are an exclusive to the Pretty Pink Posh shop. You can only get them there. I've also used a Stitched Borders 3 die to create a little snowy bank there inside. And I've trimmed a piece of cardstock and acetate or transparency to 3x4. I've laid out my scene, and now I've placed the transparency over everything, and I'm going to stamp my greeting from the Holiday Pals using some Stays On cotton white ink. The greeting is going to read, "'Tis the season, sending you warm winter wishes." I placed it over the entire thing so I could just, for placement purposes, before I assemble any of the shaker. Now there's 3 snowflake designs in the Holiday Pals stamp set. I'm going to stamp those all over this acetate piece as well to give a little bit more of the depth and dimension that I like to do when creating a stamped scene. And when I put together a shaker card, I like to have some of the elements inside, like all of these colored and die cut images are going to be inside the shaker, but the greeting and the snowflakes will be on the outside. To clean off that Stays On ink, I have found the best is Ultra Clean. You can see it doesn't come off there on the right side if you don't have anything. Squirt a little Ultra Clean on, and that Stays On ink is going to come right off, and your stamps are going to be super clean. I recommend doing that right away if you worry about things like that residual ink and stuff staying on your stamps. I'm going to take some tumbled glass distress ink now to my 3x4 piece of cardstock that I trimmed. This is going to be the back of the shaker. I'm going to have the tumbled glass distress ink be darker near the bottom edge, I guess, of the cardstock, and then lighter as it goes up. I'm going to try to get that as even as I can, and definitely a lighter application towards the top of the panel. I'm using the mini ink blending tool to apply the color to my cardstock. And there's what that's going to look like when I place everything or put everything together. I decided to add just a little bit more ink there so that you can read the greeting a little easier. I'm going to peel off that stick-it paper now that was on the back of my scallop frame and place that right over the acetate. I'm actually going to take the acetate to that. I find it's a little easier to do it this way. It's really sticky, so it's going to stick very easily. And there is what the front of the shaker is going to look like. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to double up some Scotch foam adhesive. If you had some fun foam, that would be really awesome. Right now, I ran out. I didn't have a piece big enough to die cut my scallop frame. Otherwise, I think that's what I would have done here, since I had to trim my Scotch foam adhesive so thin to fit around all 4 sides. I actually got 4 strips out of one little piece here. So it did go a long way. It's just a little extra work. If you had some fun foam, you could definitely apply the stick-it to the fun foam and really create a shaker a little bit cleaner and easier than this. However, this worked fine for my purposes here today. Again, going to cut 4 strips out of one little piece of Scotch foam adhesive. You want to make sure that it butts up against each other so that when you put the shaker material inside, it can't escape. Before I apply the shaker material, I like to take a powder tool and run it along all 4 edges inside the shaker. It's going to help those seed beads from sticking to the foam adhesive, and that way they're going to shake a little bit nicer. Go ahead and put together the inside portion of the shaker panel. I'm going to attach my stitched border. This is going to be the snow along the bottom of that 3x4 piece of cardstock. And then I'm using glue dots to create my scene. So I'll start here with my bunny. I'm not going to press him down quite yet because I want to make sure I get everything positioned exactly the way I want it to. Grab my tree, or the tallest of the 2 trees rather, and I'm going to move it over a little bit, so I need to move my bunny as well. I want them to overlap just a little bit. I'll place my next tree slightly overlapping, and then I'm going to use some little glue dots. These are the Bling Zots glue dots from ThermaWeb to attach all of these gift packages. And I purposely made sure that there wasn't anything tall on the right side of this panel so that the greeting is a little bit easier to read since it's on the front of the transparency. Now I decided my bunny was going to be a girl, and so I stamped the bow from the Holiday Pals stamp set, and I'm going to color that in really quick. I just stamped it on a scrap piece of paper. Color it in with my R24 and R29, and then die cut that with the coordinating die. And then use a bling glue dot to attach that right to one of her ears. Lots of fun little accessory pieces in this Holiday Pals stamp set. I'm using some metal snips scissors to snip these metal dies apart easily. Now I can go ahead and put my shaker together and finish off the card. I'm going to fill the shaker with some sparkling clear and marshmallow Pretty Pink Posh seed beads. Pull off the backing paper from the foam adhesive. And then I'm going to take that background panel and take it to the front of the shaker, lining that up so that it's perfectly straight. Press that in place really good. I can flip it over and my shaker is all finished. So it has some fun shaking snow for this wintry scene holiday card. To finish my card, I'm going to take a white card base and some My Favorite Things grout gray ink. I'm going to take all three of those snowflake images and place them on an acrylic block together. And then I'm going to stamp around all four sides of this side fold Simon Says Stamp card base. This is going to give a really nice muted design that coordinates nicely with the shaker, but gives a little interest to the background of the card as well. I love this grout gray ink. It's not overpowering, but it does give you that subtle little pattern there. And by stamping all three of these snowflakes at one time, it makes creating the background so much easier. I don't need to fill in that center piece because it's going to be covered up. I'll go ahead and attach that to my card base. And then I'm going to finish with a scattering of Pretty Pink Posh sparkling clear sequins in the 4mm and 6mm size, just to kind of finish off that whole snowy design. They go from the top left corner kind of throughout the shaker down to the bottom right corner of the card. And I didn't add a whole lot, just a few. And then I'm going to take some teeny tiny gemstones, these are from Hobby Lobby, and fill in the centers of the sequins as well as the centers of the stamped snowflakes on the shaker only, not all the way around the border, just on the shaker, those white snowflakes there. I'm going to attach that to my card base so it quits moving on me. And here's where I'm going to fill in the center of all those snowflakes for a little bling. That's going to finish this holiday shaker card. Thanks for watching this video showcasing the new Pretty Pink Posh Holiday Pals Stamps and Dies, part of the November 2015 release. The supplies I've used to create this card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Please subscribe for weekly card making and stamping videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.